nice. So you kind of get into it and you're like, yeah, it's an original Buick Riviera until you fire it up. And this isn't the normal LS swap. The normal one, which everybody gets, is the 435 horsepower LS3. What he opted for was he wanted more power, so we got the 525 horsepower LS3. So she has a lot of get up and go. So what we have here behind me is a really special build we did for a client a little while ago. It's a 1965 Buick Riviera. It started life with a 401 nailhead in it, turbo 400 automatic 3-speed transmission. Owner really loved the car, and he has a pretty big car collection, but he always said, this is my favorite car. This is the one I always want to drive. And then he came back to us one day and said, it's just not quite enough. I want more out of it. So we threw him the idea of, doing one of the Chevy Connecting Cruise packages and just put a modern LS in it with a new overdrive transmission, all the bells and whistles, power steering, air conditioning, the reliability, the better gas mileage, and he was all about it. He was right on board. He said, when can we get started? I can leave the car for you right now. And once the new drivetrain showed up, that's when the problems began to start. The unique thing about the Rivieras of this era and some of the other big cars of this era, like Impalas, is the chassis is an X-frame. So shortly after the firewall, the frame rails come into the center of the car and then go back, and then they go back out near the back of the car. The problem with that is that eats up all your room for trying to do something like put an LS in this car. At the time, there weren't a lot of aftermarket companies offering anything for this platform, so pretty much everything we needed I had to build. The motor mounts, the trans mount, making all the accessories fit. It was a whole lot of work. I had seen a couple in the past where people set them in there, but it just didn't quite look right. They tried to leave the frame as stock as possible, so the engine sat really high up and way too far forward. We didn't want that, so we cut and modified the frame, got the engine way down in the chassis and pushed right up against the firewall. It was a lot of work and a lot of late nights, but now that it's done, I love it. The client loves it, and he says now it truly is my favorite car. I love driving this thing every day, and it goes wherever. When we sent it down to the body shop, because it had a nice black paint job on it, but he wanted a better black paint job on it. So we took the car down to bare metal, fixed everything, and then put a real slick black paint job on it. One of the key features of this era Riviera is the clamshell headlights that open back and forth. And when we got it back, they just weren't quite working right. And I know between Matt and I, we probably spent 2 days trying to get them to open and close just right. But they do work perfectly now, and it's an awesome feature of the car.